going to be late, maybe, or just not show. I don't know. Well, if when he shows, he'll. Ba-na-na-na-nam. Ba-na-na-na-nam. Ba-na-na-na-nam.
I mean, I guess he never answered as to when he was going to show.
And he's in a completely different time zone, so fuck if we know what's going on. The point is, we're going to do what we got to do. We got to do what we got to do, which is go live.
Yep, and without Tim, there's no argument for, not doing this every week.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually someone has to watch if we get 100 or so of these.
Prep time! Waiting for the stream to show up on my Twitch. Which is going to take forever anyway. It gives them another like 2 to 5 minutes to show up. Make sure my bots are on.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look nearly as bad when it's bigger.
Hooray! I need to bring up an article of the what's the what we learned. There we go. That's gonna help, and I'm just gonna put this in the show notes. Just that we have something to refer back to about without having to rewatch the damn video. It's fun. I have exactly the same number of followers on Twitch as I do subs on YouTube.
Wow.
That is fucking amazing. Alright. 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Hello there, it's 2 minutes to midnight, and this is your atomic silver lining in the mushroom cloud. This is Disdonn.
And Steve.
And we are currently waiting to see whether or not our guest is going to show today. We do have Fodda booked. We will have to see whether or not he shows up. He will likely be late. He's in a very different time zone. He's in the UK. So, the fact that he's there definitely does mean that he might not be here. But we'll see what happens. He's been pinged. He might drop in any moment. So we're just going to get started. How was your week, Steve?
Less on fire than the previous one.
Less on fire.
Slightly.
Slightly less on fire. Slightly less we are done fucked. Just slightly less. I apologize for me. I'm probably going to slowly be going into madness and being high as fuck because I took a Percocet before the show because my stitches started hurting.
I started a diet and I'm very hungry. I'm trying to not be a land whale so I don't die.
Gluten-free crackers. Also, the flies around me, so if you hear me swatting at them, eventually we'll get there. I'm almost done with my training at my new job, which is good. Oh, Fodda's saying... Oh, okay. Fodda will definitely be late. He just got home from visiting the parents.
Yeah, he could hop in at any time, though. I can tell you this, though. I am so sick of chicken already.
Sick of chicken already. Just started a diet. Sick of chicken. Alright, that's great.
It's been like 4 or 5 days straight of chicken breast with steamed vegetables.
Oh, Well, it sounds good to me, but I guess if you have it every day, it's
it's good at first until it isn't.
All right. So let's get into the big news. Okay. So gaming news is where we usually start. So we've got the Nintendo Direct dropped this week. It was supposed to drop last week, but a hurricane happened. A tsunami or earthquake happened, and now there's a hurricane here, so it's like, fuck it, let's just drop a Nintendo Direct in the middle of a fucking hurricane. That's great. So, we learned quite a few things. First things first, the biggest news out of it, besides the Smash Brothers new character reveal, I guess there's another biggest news at the end that we'll get to when we do the Smash Brothers thing, but first...
Be alarmed, this is not a warp whistle.
This is not a warp whistle. This is a vacuum cleaner. Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch in the near future. Probably next year, my guess.
Oh man, I still haven't played Dark Moon.
But yeah, and they also announced that the original Luigi's Mansion is getting a 3DS remake, which is also good. That's great for you because you've got a 3DS, Steve.
Yep.
Kirby's Epic Yarn and Bowser's Inside Story are coming to the 3DS. So that's the 3DS news. Any of those games that you really want?
Wait, but Bowser's Inside Story was already for the DS, and the 3DS can play DS games.
But they're adding a whole nother campaign with Bowser Jr.
Oh, I really liked Bowser's Inside Story. I think it was the best of the Mario and Luigi games.
Isn't that right? That's great. It's great shit, though. So, hang on. I gotta actually fucking forgot. What's the one thing that I always do when I start streaming?
The first game was kind of hilariously, unintentionally racist. Because I don't think that Japan has the, same slang terms and racist stuff as the US. So I think they were unaware of a couple things.
Oh, of course they're always unaware.
Like, in the first Mario and Luigi game, you literally do a jump rope minigame to jump the border into a land full of bean people.
That is unintentionally racist.
Hilariously.
Probably because they don't understand anything about our political situation over here in the United States right now. Trust me, if we didn't have this political part of this podcast, we probably wouldn't either. So,
well, yeah, but there's this was before the whole build the wall situation. Anyway, I mean,
yeah,
God,
but it
when
didn't
did that
exactly
game come out? The early 2000s.
It doesn't exactly.
It's clearly an accidental screw up on Japan's part, but weirdly, no one really called them out on it that I know of, or really noticed.
Okay.
It's a fun game, though.
Oh, that's good to know. Other big news from the Nintendo Direct. We are getting a Katamari Damacy remake on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, I've always wanted to try that series.
So have I. So it is going to be coming out in the nearish future. Then there was the lovely the many updates for the Nintendo subscription program for the online play and everything. The gist of that is about $2 a month, $20 a year gets you access to online play, cloud saves for most games. There's a couple of games where they don't allow it because of potential for cheating, like Splatoon 2, etc., where games where you can get rid of items and cloud save will allow you to get those items back for a possible competitive advantage, and it's like, eh. So,
yeah, and we were still talking earlier about how Nintendo really needs to team up with Retro Achievements instead of trying to take them down legally and every other emulation site.
Well, Retro Achievements isn't an emulation site, but
yeah.
That we'll get to that when we get to that part of this. And then there was also the special deals, which everyone has. The fact that it's $20 a year instead of like the $10 a month plus that everywhere else is is actually really, really good. Because Nintendo knows that a lot of their base is kids. So, I mean, there's going to be a couple of kids who are going to probably be pissed up until Christmas because they might not be able to get on to Splatoon or whatever for a bit, but they've got plenty of one-player games anyway.
Never stopped them from releasing 2 Pokemon games at a time.
Exactly. But the thing is what's going to happen is a lot of these kids are going to get their yearly subscription every Christmas now. It's going to be building a consistent amount of money coming into Nintendo, and they know that they're not going to actually have to put much money into their servers because they've already got halfway decent servers. They just need to up their game on, getting people together in the right spots. But it sounds like it's a very similar system, but they have also added. Well, they're going, instead of doing the Virtual Console on the Switch, they're getting rid of Virtual Console on pretty much every other platform right now anyway. They're doing a thing called the Nintendo whatever jig. Basically, it's NES games. They're going to slowly add the library. It's starting off with almost everything that's on the NES Classic. And they're going to add new games every month, basically where it's going to be plug and play, but it's going to have online play where you're going to be able to multiplayer online with old NES games. They're releasing a special Nintendo NES styled Nintendo Switch controller to go with it for use with that, and and they're going to be adding new games every month. So,
and I think you were saying that they were going to add 2-player mode to a lot of the older games that didn't have it.
No, not games that didn't have it. It's just games that have 2-player mode are going to have an online 2-player mode, like Ice Climbers and Mario 1 and Mario 3 and stuff like that. They're going to get like online 2-player.
It's a shame. I don't think that Mario 2 had it. It would have been fun to, put you to shame in that.
You're an ass.
That was hilarious.
I know. I need to get that death reel eventually for the 10 people who will fucking watch it on YouTube.
Oh man, but everyone will watch that other clip. That was the best clip ever.
That other clip is very worth watching. There's the thing that you mentioned about the retro achievements is that since they're doing this and they don't really have an achievement system for the Switch or any of its games, is that maybe they should work, instead of fucking around with the emulator sites and trying to take them down, work with them. Add NES or add SNES and Game Boy Advance at the minimum, maybe eventually like N64 and whatever, to this program, right? And then you add and then with each of those they can make new Nintendo Switch controllers that are based on those controllers. Imagine an N64 Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch. That'd be fucking great, right?
Oh man, that controller was evil.
Another $40-$50 for them, for everyone who wants one. Just like all the bajillion people who are going to be buying the fucking GameCube controllers and the controller switchers just for fucking Smash, right? But
yeah,
you get retro achievements on it. They've already made so many achievements for so many games from NES all the way on. They can ignore all the ROM hack achievements, but you can connect through retro achievements through your Switch. It would be a way to start building back trust with these people who've been using emulators, and then maybe actually get access to the games that they don't fucking have anymore. Because that's one of the problems with the Virtual Console and everything since it, is that Nintendo and a lot of IPs do not have actual ROMs of their games. That is a problem. That is a problem where we will lose so many games, some of them shitty games that probably should just go long into the night, like all of the LJN games from the original NES. But, it's neither here nor there. The thing is they need to start working with people, because otherwise they will lose so much of video game history. Because eventually cartridges will go out. And if they don't have a backup somewhere, what the fuck's going to happen?
Oh god, what was that game that someone at Sega was working on, and they just finally found it somewhere on an old PC and finished it?
I can't remember.
I can't remember the name, but they were going to release it on Steam.
All I know is, like, video games, since the advent of discs, way easier to back them up and have copies. But the original cartridge versions of things, like back in the Atari and stuff, if they didn't have a backup, like downloaded to a computer, a lot of those computers are fucking dead now. We're talking the 80s. Computers as old as I am. Over 30 years old. How many of your computers last more than 5 years? I mean, come on.
Not many.
So, there's a distinct need for this sort of thing. And that would also give Nintendo even more of a leg up over its competition, because PlayStation, Xbox, they're new. Their retro stuff that they have, their backwards compatibility stuff on theirs, which is for PlayStation Now, which is a separate $20 a month fucking thing to get everything from the PlayStation 1 forward. It's missing 20 years of gaming history. Whereas Nintendo can start back in the 80s. PlayStation starts at 97, 98. So they're missing a good decade and a half of stuff.
Yeah, Nintendo had a ton of awesome games.
And so basically what I'm saying is if they were smart, eventually they will readdress their policy against emulators and find a way to buy into it. Because if they do add it to their current monthly plan, they can maybe increase the charge to like $5 a month. But then they'll have such a massive library. It'd be like a fucking Netflix for retro games. It'd be worthwhile. It'd be a Netflix for retro games with achievements. We need this. We who grew up with these games need this to give to our children, to have a legal option that they can't take away from us. Because right now, pretty much every major emulator site has been shut down, either directly by lawsuits or fear of lawsuits. So everything is now back to the shady peer-to-peer shit where viruses are many and plenty, and it is bullshit. But that's that part of the Nintendo Direct. They've got new characters are being added to Nintendo, to Mario Tennis Aces, which just came out a couple months ago, including Birdo. Birdo's awesome. Birdo's coming in. They finally announced the final title for Yoshi, which was supposed to come out this year, but they bumped it back to spring 2019. It is now officially called Yoshi's Crafted World, which is play on the Yoshi's Woolly World, which was the last in the series. So since it's made out of crafting construction paper, it's Crafted World. I think that it's a pretty cool naming convention, to be honest.
They should totally add Paper Mario and Yarn Kirby to a sequel to this.
You know, that would be pretty cool.
I mean, Mario's made of paper, the Yoshi World's crafting paper, Kirby's a bunch of yarn. It would all work and just fit a theme.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I take it you noticed Fodda's online?
Nope. Wait, what?
Oh, no, he's away again.
He's still coming. Eventually. I'll have him do his summary about this and his loves or hates later. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. Now, if you remember, New Super Mario Brothers was a Wii game, and then they had their sequel on the Wii U, New Super Mario's U. Now, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is basically Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but for that game. But there was also the Luigi one that they did, the new Luigi Brothers, which it was two individual games. They're both getting upgrades.
With the Year of Luigi.
Yep. They're both getting upgrades and ports to the Switch, coming out in January 11th. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It's going to be 160 plus levels of Mario and Luigi amazingness. Fuck yes. Awesome. Good shit.
I really need to save up for a Switch and a TV.
I know, right? It's going to be somewhere around $400 for all that.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Pokemon Team's next game. Basically, Game Freak and the Pokemon makers, they have a new game called Town. It's a monster RPG. It looks really cool. You saw the Nintendo Direct, right?
This week?
Yes, this week.
I was supposed to.
God damn it, Steve. Damn it. So, yeah. Anyway. But yes, Pokemon team is working on a game that is kind of like a Animal Crossing-ish mixed with like Pokemon. So that looks cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
It's tentatively called Town. It might be renamed later. Just like how they might have a subtitle to Luigi's Mansion 3. Sort of like, Luigi's Mansion 2 was like Dark Moon or whatever. But that's one of the games they're working on for next year. And they're also working on Gen 8 for next year as well. There's no details on that because they're still pushing super duper hard on the Eevee and Pikachu Pokemon Let's Go. They also announced a bundle for the Switch for that includes a special graphical dock with the Pikachu and Eevee. They've also got one that's coming out for Smash Brothers that comes with the custom dock and the GameCube controller. The Pikachu one comes out with the Pokeball Plus, which also works with your Pokemon Go. So basically, they're really, really hammering home all the peripherals right now. Cities Skylines out now. It was announced and premiered that day. There's they announced a lot of board games coming, like Settlers of Catan, Pandemic, and other digital board games are coming to Nintendo Switch to play on the go. Basically, it's games that have been on various different platforms for a while. Stuff that's been on Steam, stuff that's been on PlayStation, finally getting onto the Switch, which means that they will be portable. So basically, it's a board game without all of the, missing pieces that can go missing.
Yeah, I can't wait until this stuff becomes like holograms, or at very least until they release something like that for the Oculus Rift.
My favorite news coming out of this Nintendo Direct, something that we kind of got a little bit of a taste of because they had to announce the Nintendo Switch version when they announced that the Pocket Edition of Final Fantasy 15 was coming to consoles, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They also announced that it was coming to Switch, right? So
yep.
that was supposed to be debuted when they originally were going to be doing this Nintendo Direct, but they postponed it for reasons. But that was just a fucking drop in the sea of motherfucking Squaresoft coming to Nintendo again. We get Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age, aka the HD remake of Final Fantasy XII, coming to Nintendo Switch. And then we get Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X, and a remake of Crystal Chronicles, all coming to the Nintendo Switch 2019. Now, the real question I have, and a lot of people in this room might have, with Nintendo getting Final Fantasy VII, finally, after having Cloud and fucking Smash forever now, when's the remake coming for PlayStation? They've been talking about that remake for fucking 5-6 years now.
And it's what everyone wants, but as soon as they get it, there's going to be something wrong with it that makes everyone mad.
Oh, just like how the HD 3D remake of Seiken Densu 2, Secret of Mana was shit.
Yeah, I think that they're just putting it off because they know that if they change anything, they'll make at least half of their fan base angry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even something as minor as just upgrading the graphics will still piss off some fans.
I'm still under the assumption that one thing they're going to do is they will take out the cross-dressing thing.
Which would piss off fans.
But I understand why they would want to in the current state of the world. What they should do is redo the dialogue for it. Is what they should do. Like, instead of playing it off as transphobic and ha 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 gay stuff, they should make it a little bit more maybe alluding to how Cloud might actually be, not entirely straight. Because, I mean, he can go on a date with Barrett. They can adjust the date with Barrett later in the game to reflect that maybe Cloud's bi. I mean, he does have a very big hard-on for Sephiroth. And Sephiroth is a pretty man.
Well, that would piss off, like, a large chunk of their base.
No, it wouldn't, because there's like 90% of the fucking base already ships those two anyway in fanfiction, so fuck it. Just embrace the bisexuality of Cloud Strife and do it. Just do it. Do it, Squaresoft. Do it.
I mean,
be brave.
I personally wouldn't care. I just think that most of the fan base would be pretty resistant to any change at all.
But that's one big announcement. There's 3 huge announcements. There was the Final Fantasy announcement. There was the Luigi's Mansion 3. I was hoping and praying we'd get an update on Metroid Prime 4. I'm guessing that'll drop around the time that they give us the final update for Smash and or Pokemon Let's Go sometime next month or in November. But speaking of Smash, they announced... I already talked about the special Ultimate Nintendo Switch console bundle with the GameCube controller, the Smash decal, and you can order it now, and it comes with a code to where you can download Smash as soon as it comes out. It's basically, preloaded with it, but you can't play it yet, essentially. But the big news with Smash, Isabelle from Animal Crossing is fucking 70th character coming, or 70-someth character coming to Smash. She's finally moving up in the world. She's gone from being an assist trophy to actually being a Smash member. The trailer for her was pretty cool, and then they trolled the shit out of us. Just like they did with the DDD reveal to be for K. Rool last time. They had Tom Nook show up and say something about, oh, hey, it's really cool to see Isabelle move up in the world. I got to get back to work on this thing that I'm working on because we need a place for people to live after they're done smashing and camping and stuff. And then it just drops a title screen of Animal Crossing coming to Switch 2019. And everybody's been bitching about Animal Crossing since the Switch was announced. So...
Oh yeah, I have a few friends who are fans of the series.
Everybody lost their fucking minds.
Freaking out about it.
But fuck. I mean, if it gets multiplayer online, I would want to play it with fans on my Twitch stream. That'd be fun. It'd be like Stardew, but Animal Crossing.
It's definitely a chill series.
I mean... The 2 chill fucking series that Nintendo has for even the most casual of gamers is Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon. If not for those 2 games, we would have never fucking got Farmville. Admit it. Farmville owes its existence. Stardew owes its existence to those 2 games.
I think we need more games like that.
I know. Because they're
less
just so
like Farmville.
Awesome. They're so good. But that is pretty much the gist of the Nintendo Direct. There was also a very, very fun thing that happened during the Direct, during their announcement of the, whatchamacallit, the, the Nintendo subscription system. Steve, if you want to, I'm gonna jump to like 15 minutes in that video for the Nintendo Direct. I will quick mute the site. It's at like what, 15 minutes in? They start talking about okay, like 13 minutes in. There's a clip during the announcement where you have Bowser Jr. and Bowser are playing together And then later on, they're playing Ice Climbers together. And then later on, they're talking about the online play. And it's Bowser Jr. and Peach. And they say something along the lines of making the heart grow fonder. Right?
What?
They unofficially mention that Bowser Jr. is playing games with his mom, Peach.
But it's canon that she's not.
But it's still a fan theory, and they acknowledge the fan theory by doing that. Yeah.
Oh, man. Fanning the flames on a years-old argument.
I know, right? They just love they love doing that because they've been doing that since when they originally announced the Nintendo Switch. They had a thing where it was Bowser and Peach playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online together. It was fucking hilarious. So yeah, they've been fanning the flames of that for a while. But I'm trying to think if there was any other... oh, okay, I do have more gaming news. I've got more gaming news. I'm going to move my entertainment shit to before that. Daniel Radcliffe, Emmys, Cavill. Alright, so, next bit of gaming news is actually very Twitch relevant. Incredibly Twitch relevant. You may not know this streamer, Steve, because he usually plays stuff like Call of Duty, but a very, 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 very famous Twitch streamer, Dr. Disrespect, had to cut a stream short earlier this week because someone did a drive-by shooting near at his house while he was streaming.
What the hell?
Yep, he got incredibly pissed off. Told his fans, hey, there was a shooting. Someone shot out the windows of my upstairs thing. My family lives here. I gotta go. Ended the stream. He lives in California. They didn't say where he lives exactly, but it sounds like LA area. His real name is Guy Biem. And this is the second time that he has had a shooting at his house where someone drove by and shot at his house. Apparently the day before that stream where he got the shot that broke an upstairs window, there was one on a day that he wasn't, or a time where he wasn't streaming. There's a Twitch clip for it as well. If you want to watch that, I will copy that link and post in the thing. But yeah, the police are investigating. There's been no real ID of who it is, if it's someone who knew him and knew where he lived, or if it was just a random, like he's living in a neighborhood that gets drive-by shootings sort of thing. So kind of big Twitch news there. It's almost as big as that one YouTuber who had that big controversy and quit YouTube because of CSGO skin selling. And had that car accident a couple weeks ago. But,
oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. But Dr. Disrespect is huge on Twitch. He's almost as huge as Ninja. Ninja being the Fortnite guy. So, like, yeah. And he's a pretty cool dude from what I've heard. Some of the people who are involved in DGDS went to, I think, Awesome Games Done Quick. And he was in the commentary panel. And they were able to talk backstage about things, and he seems like he's a really cool dude, really chill, and, you know, it sucks to see stuff like this happen. Thankfully, he's okay, and his family's okay. So that's more news. Blizzard. This is something I stole from Fodda's chat, because he's got a bot that aggregates gaming news. Blizzard has a job page open. For MMORPG worlds that could be involved in either WoW or some other MMORPG that they're starting to work on. But they are working on new properties, it looks like. So it's definitely hinting that they're maybe working on possibly new Diablo-related project or other unannounced projects. But there is plenty of vacancies for World of Warcraft and Overwatch right now. So that's pretty good.
I've been saying for years they need a World of StarCraft.
Oh, you mean Star Wars Galaxies, but StarCraft?
Well, just a StarCraft MMO with probably just reskinning of WoW.
I mean, yes and no. They'd actually have to go do a lot more work into it because it'd have to involve space travel, planet to planet and shit.
WoW does that already, a little.
Yeah, but you'd have to add spaceships and stuff like that. There's also, I'm just going to mention this. I have a link in the area for you to watch. Hey, Tutsu, yeah, you want to go to space? See, Tutsu agrees with you. They need a World of StarCraft. Hashtag World of StarCraft or Universe of StarCraft, because it's not a world. Universe of StarCraft.
Otherwise, like, Diablo would lend itself really well for an MMO.
Diablo, yes, but I would rather see more single-player campaigns with that, honestly. But I have a thing in the thing that's a short, like 3 or 4 minute video. It's a remake of the Metal Gear Solid intro that someone did. Erasmus Brosdow used it in, made a remake of the intro to Metal Gear Solid, the snake chili swim that everyone remembers from the original Metal Gear Solid. He used the Unreal Engine to make it. He's an art director who worked on Crysis, Rise, Star Citizen, and he used Unreal Engine 4. Basically, he showed the potential of a 4K remaster of Metal Gear Solid and how you could literally just rip everything. And Konami canceled the fan remake a while back, so basically everybody is pissed at Konami.
Konami makes a lot of bad decisions.
I know. And very, very, very good news for those who love hentai and porn games. Especially those who are still pissed off that Honey Pop is somewhat censored on Steam. Valve, because of their content filters being fucked up over the summer with the active shooter game, and they basically came out and said, okay, unless it's straight up troll game, we're going to allow basically anything. The first AO rated game with uncensored hardcore sex has now been approved for sale on Steam. And they're somewhat in hot water because of all of the censorship they've done on past games that they might have to renege on now. But Dicker Studios' Negligee Love Stories was finally approved without having the censorship. It was previously censored, and you had to go to external patches similar to the mods for Stardew to get it uncensored again. But now the full uncensored version is now for sale on Steam because of the new laissez-faire approach, which basically means that now games like Honey Pop and Dream Daddy and stuff, if they wanted to, they can put in X-rated material if they want. I'm
honestly kind of surprised that the first uncensored game isn't going to be a Leisure Suit Larry title.
No, it's just one of those lovely visual novels that has all those sex scenes in it. But that's still news. It's huge news because as long as I've known, it's been hard to find decent visual novels because of the fact that they censor so much. People have been avoiding putting it there. Not that I'm necessarily going to be going out and buying this game. I do have a wife. I have a happy marriage. All that fun stuff. So it's not like I'm going to be going out and buying hentai games to play hentai games. But
my wife would probably watch me play it.
Exactly. There's people like you who have a wife who would actively want to participate and probably play the game with you.
I still want a new Leisure Suit Larry now.
Yeah, Egoraptor and his wife actually have a similar relationship. They worked on, they played Dream Daddy and Honey Pop and a couple other visual novels together for her channel, Kitty Cat Gaming. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential now coming out of this. That's great stuff. It's great shit. So that is some cool news out of gaming, but just a rundown. A Nintendo Direct happened. We have a new character for Smash. Animal Crossing is coming out next year. Fucking Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming. New bundles for Pokemon Let's Go and Smash, as well as more Wii U remakes coming to the Switch. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I know there's a lot of people who are bitching about the remakes on the Switch, but the Switch in just a year and a half has way more consoles sold than in the entire lifespan of the Wii U. That means that those games were passed over by a vast majority of people because they'd either stopped playing their Wii U's or sold them to pawn shops. So we're talking about games like Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 that, got millions upon millions of new sales. New fans.
It's kind of like the GameCube, where it had a few really good games, but because the platform didn't sell that well, a lot of people don't know about them, like Eternal Darkness.
Exactly. It's one of those situations. The Wii U had some pretty good games, but it didn't sell as well as it needed to for it to get out the hype machine for some of their shit. Whoa, that Percocet's kicking in. Getting a little dizzy, man. So when they re-release shit, it's not a big deal. I'm still waiting on more information on Bayonetta 3, by the way, which was supposed to come out eventually. I think it might be next year now. Which, if that's true, if what I just said is true with Bayonetta 3, we've got a pretty solid 2019 shaping up for first party titles on the Nintendo Switch. We've got the Katamari Damacy remake. We've got Yoshi. We've got fucking Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3, Metroid Prime 4 might be coming out next year, Bayonetta 3. That's 6 titles. That's like every other month we're going to be getting a new title. And that's just the shit that we know about. Town might get pushed back. Still waiting on more word on the new Pokemon game. That's the actual next generation of Pokemon. And then, we might get more random shit out of nowhere. The rumored Shovel Knight 2, Binding of Isaac 2, that sort of stuff, that is all rumor, and we don't fucking know what's going on.
Sounds like you're gonna be very broke next year.
I'm very broke already. Speaking of which, now is a great time to advertise. If you're listening to this either live or on YouTube or anywhere that we wind up uploading this to later on, please go to my Patreon, Disdonn Plays' Patreon, patreon.com/DisdonnPlays. It is the one Patreon right now that we are using for this podcast. It will help us make money to buy these games that we were talking about. It will help us make money to upload the podcast to many places and pay their not exorbitant but annoying upload fees of $10+ a month to have the bandwidth to listen to this podcast. Otherwise, we will be relegated to our weekly streams and YouTube uploads, as well as my now using Patreon as my platform for uploading these videos. For $5 a month, you'll be able to get early access to the properly mixed down version of this, because Craig, the awesome Craigbot, is amazing at allowing me to separate out the audio, pan to make it sound better, adjust levels, do bass boost. It's just great shit. So that's the advertisement. And don't forget to check out Steve's YouTube. He's eventually going to start working on stuff.
I'm lazy.
Yeah, you're a lazy land whale that needs to lose weight. You said that earlier.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I'm just repeating what you said. I love you, Steve. Please lose weight.
One of these days, I'm going to redo a sprite of Whalmer with, like, my hair and mustache.
Please do. You are. Okay, so where is it? Okay, so we got 2 things on Cavill. I did not save the article about Titans, but all these 3 things can be rolled together. The DC Universe streaming app announcement for entertainment news, the Cavill Superman, and Titans. So first and foremost, Henry Cavill is possibly hanging up the cape of Superman. It was first reported that he was leaving, but now it's been walked back to it's possible that he's leaving.
Did he give a reason?
Most of the reason being he's working on a lot of other projects right now. He worked on a lot of projects
like The Witcher.
Yeah, like The Witcher, and some other movies. He's possibly going to come back, possibly not. This is alongside the maybe not return of Ben Affleck as Batman, which I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I liked him. I liked him as Batman. The script was shit.
Yeah, don't hate on Affleck. It's not his fault the script was awful.
But he looks the part and he plays the part. Same with Cavill. He looks
the dude
the part and he plays the part.
Legit loves Batman.
Dude, okay, fucking tangent time. We got time. My wife's not here. We can go over today. But legit, we gotta talk about this. Kevin Smith needs to be brought to the DCEU to direct a Justice League movie or something, because that motherfucker would make the next Nolanverse type film.
Yeah, as we were saying before, give him a start with some of the smaller characters like the Question or Blue Beetle, because those characters have a mythology that connects together. Then he could bring in characters like Lady Shiva.
And he can be in charge of Justice League Dark.
Then when you eventually have to kill off the Vic Sage version of the Question, you get Renee Montoya, who was dating Batwoman, which ties into the entire Bat family mythos, and go from there, and then you have an actual decent DCEU. And Kevin Smith could pull it off, especially still using Ben Affleck as Batman with decent writing.
As long as he doesn't have another one of those massive heart attacks again. Though he did lose, 60 pounds now.
Yeah, the dude looks great now.
Dude's almost as freaking light as I am. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, and he went from being fatter than I am. Well, almost
as fat as you are. But no, yeah, that's one thing that we were talking about. But legit, if they do a soft reboot, it's probably going to happen with the Flash movie, Flashpoint. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, everyone loves the episodes of Flash that he did. And a lot of people really liked his comic book run of Green Arrow.
And he did a great job with his run on Daredevil for Marvel.
Yeah, so the guy, he has the talent. It's just that no one thinks for some reason, to hire him.
And Clerks 2 and Jay and Silent Bob, so they think that's where he's at. Also, he's finishing up his Canadian trilogy with, God, I can't remember what the third movie was.
Yoga Hosers?
No. Yoga Hosers was the second one, I thought.
I don't remember.
But I know Tusk was in there. Moose Jaws, that's what the third one is. He's working on Moose Jaws now.
Yeah, it was quite apparent with Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back that he wanted to do serious stuff, but was pigeonholed as a comedian. And I think he's proved what he can do with The Flash.
Yeah, with his episodes on TV. Because the one that he did in Season 2 was literally heartbreaking. It made me weep like a fucking little child. Gave me all the feels.
And really, what do they have to lose? Could it be anything worse than Zack Snyder has done?
Thank God that motherfucker's been fired.
Like, I would just love it if Smith took over.
I know, right?
Like, he's an actual fan, so he knows what the fans want and what the characters are supposed to be like. He's not just going to make it stupidly and pointlessly gritty for the sake of gritty.
Yep, but dialing it back to what I was talking about, there's been an on-again, off-again discussion with Ben Affleck possibly leaving Batman because of these side stories and a Batman origin story, or Elseworlds Batman, Elseworlds Joker coming out. All this fucking weird shit.
Oh, so now they realize that they can't make what they're trying to do work, so they're trying to go back to Batman stuff because it's sold under Nolan?
Well, they were going to have the Ben Affleck solo Batman movie, and now it's being pushed back, and now it's possibly not going to have Ben Affleck in the role of Batman. It might be somebody else. There's a lot of shit going on with that. So, Henry Cavill is now on the potential going to be leaving the DCEU, mostly because the studio is also now reportedly working on Supergirl as opposed to another Superman or Justice League movie because of the it wasn't a flop, mind you. Justice League sold well. It wasn't the best movie in the world, I will admit that. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it
had a lot of good effects.
It didn't sell the boatload of money that it needed to say, hey, we need to keep going down this path. So they're doubling back onto the solo stories again. They've got Wonder Woman 1984 or 89 or whatever. The 1980s Wonder Woman is coming out soon. Aquaman's coming. And then they got Shazam. And then they're still working on the Flashpoint movie. And from there, it's just kind of a bunch of things that they just started talking about.
Oh, they could maybe handle Flashpoint.
And as I just said not too long ago, Flashpoint would be a great place to do a soft reboot. If Cavill and Affleck leave, you can do Flashpoint. Bring in Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the Flashpoint Batman. Thomas Wayne Batman, right? Because he said he wants to fucking do it anyway, right?
Oh, I love Thomas Wayne Batman.
Do Thomas Wayne Batman in the Flashpoint movie. Then when Flash comes back, you can change the actors. You can change it to where nobody knows each other. Because guess what? That's what Flashpoint was. Flashpoint created the New 52. They can literally do that soft reboot where Flash comes back to where it's not even his Earth anymore.
Why can't they just do some of the, best storylines that they've done in the past? Like Infinite Crisis or Blackest Night.
That's what they were working towards with Justice League. Was like the Infinite Crisis and
I guess
the Doomsday crap, but it's like you can't not Doomsday. Who's the fucking blue motherfucker again?
Darkseid.
Darkseid. Yeah, they were gonna go in with the Darkseid shit,
but then they bring such a second-rate villain like Steppenwolf, who nobody freaking knows.
They were gonna have Steppenwolf be like they were gonna do Batman vs Superman, did the Doomsday thing. Justice League was gonna do Steppenwolf to introduce Darkseid, and then the third one was gonna be Darkseid with the potential of the League of Villains or the super villain, whatever, the Legion of Doom, because of that end credits thing. But now everything's being doubled down and back and whatever, and it's just fucking bullshit.
They could have done Mongol, or they could have brought Brainiac in, or any number of really powerful villains.
Anyway, with that, there was a bunch of fan recommendations for like Tom Holland and a bunch of other people who might possibly fit the roles. There was somebody who said Michael B. Jordan would be a great Batman or a great Superman, but it's like, they might probably have better luck casting him as somebody like you said, Steel, right?
Like Steel, yeah.
Who's literally Black Superman.
Yeah, he was one of the replacements for Superman after he died in the, original Doomsday story.
which they done fucked up because they brought Superman back against Steppenwolf, which they shouldn't have even fucking done. What they should have done is left him dead for at least a movie, but no, they can't do that. Anyway, that brings us to the DC Universe streaming service, which is going to be getting Titans. There was an announcement for Titans about how Jason Todd Robin is going to be alongside Dick Drake, Robin / Nightwing, in the series.
Dick Grayson?
Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. And they are angry at each other for obvious reasons. But that leads me to believe that if they do Titans right, Season 2 or Season 3 can end with the cliffhanger of Jason Todd getting his ass murdered. Right?
I mean, it'd be the direction they'd probably want to go with all of this dark, gritty stuff.
And it would work. It'd be a great way to bring in an actual fucking storyline from the comics that would actually give heaviness and levity to this thing. But
yeah, it's canon.
You clued me into something earlier today. You tell me what you told me about what you found out about the online streaming service.
Apparently, the DC streaming service is going to actually have comics.
Now, do you know if it's just going to be old comics or is it going to be current releases?
I have no idea.
Because I didn't.
But it's going to be the main DC one, so it's not going to include Image or Mad Magazine, which I just found out they own.
Well, they bought that up when it was going to fold, so.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. It slipped by me.
Yeah, it slipped by a lot of people, because literally Mad Magazine said, we're going bankrupt, and then DC's like, let's buy you. So, you know.
But, I mean, everyone has their cell phones now, and I've heard that they have an option to do the comics panel by panel. So I mean,
that's a Comixology thing, so.
Yeah, you could just go to the app, everything in one place, and just read the comics on your phone, panel by panel.
Yeah, I've got a lot of comics on my Comixology. So.
I went from having no interest in this streaming service to finding that out and kind of wanting it.
And isn't it only like $5 a month?
I do not remember how much
it's
it
like
is.
5, 7, or 10. I can't remember.
I think it's like 10, but.
But if it's actually includes recent the recent comics and not just the old stuff, I mean, it might actually be worthwhile.
Oh yeah, because I really need to catch up on Dark Knight Metal.
Because people are still going to buy the hard copies at the comic shops for the covers. Because covers, as you might not know, gonna dive into comics here. Sorry, it's entertainment related. Fuck you guys. Covers have become a thing since the 90s, where alternate covers have become very coveted. A couple years ago, they did the 3D holographic covers for I can't remember, Villains Month, back when they were still doing the New 52, and there was an issue of the Joker and then Joker's daughter, no relation actually, literally, that had these hollow covers that sold like hotcakes and were already being resold on eBay a week or two later for like double, triple the price. About a month later, I think the Joker's daughter one was selling for about $50. So. Not
to mention those crazy alternate Deadpool covers that they did for every Marvel franchise. My favorite was the Fantastic Four one, where they're all freezing in the Arctic, and Deadpool's just running behind them with a surfboard.
I'm not sure if I still have that one, or if I sold it on eBay or not, but the True Origins of Tony Stark line had a Deadpool cover where it's instead of an Iron Man mask, it's Tony Stark, baby Tony Stark putting on Deadpool mask. I have that cover, or had it, I can't remember. But basically saying alternate covers are still going to be a thing, and there's people who do still want the hard copies for collections. If I had more money, would still be using my pull box to do that for a certain series, considering the fact that having a full series and then waiting until that series comes out on, like, say, a TV show, Wicked and Divine, I'm talking to you, or Sex Criminals, when those sorts of independent comic series come out into the mainstream like that, the issues, individual issues, and whole series go up in price for resale. So it's kind of like an investment thing. So that's why people are still going to be buying comics. Probably not as much if they do have everything, but that's a pretty
much the same reason people still buy paper Magic cards, even with online Magic the Gathering.
Well, yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, maybe that's what I'll play after I'm done with this. I haven't played Magic Online in a while. Okay. Next entertainment news. You got the links in the thing pulled up, Steve?
Which one?
Pull up the one that's has China's most famous actress been disappeared.
I think you threw that into my section, but I don't remember.
Nope, it's in the Atomic Silver Lining show notes. It's one of the first ones from the bottom. Right above you talking about the thing that we just talked about, the streaming service.
Oh, there it is.
But yeah, this is a very interesting semi-political thing worth talking about. Basically, the article is giving a what-if scenario about Jennifer Lawrence walking red carpet, and then the next day she vanishes without a trace. Because that's what happened in China. Not to Jennifer Lawrence, to Fan Bingbing, one of their highest paid and most bankable stars. She's been in X-Men Days of Future Past, among other American releases. And what happened was she was found to be committing tax fraud. A common practice in China because of certain regulations with their monetary system. She said she made so much from a movie, but what actually made twice as much. So it came out that she was double dipping, or getting two different contracts, one to show for taxes and one that was her actual wage. So she was cheating the Chinese government of millions of dollars in taxes, right? So a couple months ago, like back in June, she was doing a promotional thing, and then she disappeared. But apparently she's possibly being ready to be receiving legal judgment, which could be fines, could be jail time, could be worse. Because this is China we're talking about. They still have a lot of very, 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 very bad punishments for light crimes, particularly tax evasion. So that's some pretty harsh shit to be hearing about. And it's scary because, I mean, that kind of shit doesn't happen.
CNN, so of course their title is really clickbaity and Red Scare.
Well, there's a reason for it. Considering our current world political situation, if certain things go awry, we may wind up being controlled by somebody who's not us in the next 20, 30 years. Or, nuked out of existence like in the Fallout universe. So, I mean, it's something to take into thought that, what would happen if, then that's another problem. Because a lot of our diverse actors and actresses outside of the African Americans are originally from other countries, like Jackie Chan. So if they do stuff like this and get caught, it is possible that they just disappear off the face of the earth for a long time, and that is just not good for movies. It's very scary and very bad, and I thought that it needed to be mentioned, because that is fucking terrifying. And then you brought this to my attention. Justin Roiland is working on a new show. It is Solar Opposites. It's going to be on Hulu, and it's with Mary Mack from Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Sean Giambrone from, the Goldbergs. So that's pretty cool.
Pretty much any new content is welcome at this point. but I really, really want some actual news on a new Rick and Morty season.
Well, it's coming. They renewed it for 7 seasons, so it sounds like they're planning on streamlining things to get them
they need to expand their team and work on a lot of stuff at one time.
But yeah, that is pretty cool. I would love to see more stuff from Roiland, especially considering how much I enjoy Rick and Morty. Daniel Radcliffe. Thanks to a certain thing going on with Article 13, there's been a lot of people talking about memes and whether or not they're going to go away or whatever. But Daniel Radcliffe was on the Jimmy Fallon show earlier this week, just talking about his latest projects and stuff. And apparently he said he loves Harry Potter memes. He's only seen a few dozen, maybe, but Fallon remedied that, obviously, and he really liked them. So
that's kind of awesome.
I mean, yeah, the dude, Daniel Radcliffe, is fucking awesome. I love.
And he actually has a sense of humor.
Yep, he is great. I'm trying to remember if it was Daniel Radcliffe or Elijah Wood that was. I think it's Radcliffe, actually. That's in Swiss Army Man. That's on Amazon Prime. So one of these days we're gonna have to watch that. It's a bad movie. It's like really, really gross out humor and terrible, but yeah. And then because it bears noting, I guess, since tomorrow is the Emmys, nominations for the Emmys. They were announced Thursday. I don't keep track of the Emmys, so I didn't even know that the Emmys were this week. But
yeah, I mean, who under 40 does?
Not many people anymore. But there are a lot of things that need to be mentioned here. I'm just going to keep going down here. We've got Jeff Daniels, Outstanding Actor in a Limited Series or TV Movie for The Looming Tower. Lead Actress for the same category. Michelle Dockery for Godless. Godless is on Netflix. Have you seen it?
Nope.
If you like Westerns, or even if you don't like Westerns that much, I'd watch it. It's like an 8 episode limited series. It's a great fucking Western show. It's about a town of women because all the men died in a mining accident, pretty much. Where they're about to be raided by this gang. And they have to take up arms to defend themselves. It's fucking awesome. It's probably going to go to Sarah Paulson because of the American Horror Story. But, lead actors in comedy series. Ted Danson for The Good Place. Good Place, another one I would say that you should watch. Larry David for Curb Your Enthusiasm's return. William H. Macy for Shameless. And Donald Glover for Atlanta.
I haven't even heard of any of these.
I've watched some of them. I need to watch all of them. The Good Place is on Netflix. You should watch the first 2 seasons are on there right now. It is amazing. It's about heaven or hell or something. It's about the afterlife. And it's fucking comedy. It's great. Leading actress in a comedy series. Nothing. Tracy Ellis Ross from Blackish. Blackish is actually a pretty good one I need to catch up on. Marvelous Miss Maisel, Rachel Brosnan. That's one that's on Amazon Prime. It's an Amazon Prime original. Lead actor in a drama. Jason Bateman from Ozark. That's obviously Netflix. Matthew Rhys, The Americans. 2 of the actors from This Is Us. Do not watch that show, you will cry. And Jeffrey Wright from Westworld. Lead actress, Claire Foy from The Crown.
Westworld is one I actually did want to check out.
Westworld is on HBO. It is great.
I've heard good things.
Season 2. Season 1 was amazing. Season 2, I haven't seen. Elizabeth Moss, Handmaid's Tale. Fuck yes, Handmaid's Tale. You should see it.
I still do need to see that one.
That is a grim look into our future if everything that's going wrong in the politics section of this podcast goes horribly awry.
You mean like it currently is?
If it keeps going down this path, yes. Evan Rachel Wood for Westworld, outstanding actress in drama. Reality competition, go fuck itself, except American Ninja Warrior. And RuPaul's Drag Race, I guess.
Wait, that's still on? The American Ninja Warrior is still on?
Yep.
Sweet.
It's like a once-a-year thing. Variety sketch series, Drunk History.
I still miss Deadliest Warrior.
Yeah, I think
that was a great show.
Yeah, I think it's on, like, archived on Hulu or something.
Yeah, but it's they're not making new ones. It's just archived.
I know. Outstanding variety sketch series, Drunk History. Have you seen any of that?
A little. It wasn't. I didn't find it as funny as I thought I would.
It's pretty good to just sit down and binge a bit of it because you learn a lot of shit about history that you didn't know about through the eyes of a drunk person. So it's pretty good. Variety talk show, Full Frontal, Daily Show, Late Show, Last Week Tonight. Hopefully Last Week Tonight wins because motherfucking John Oliver is the TV version of what our show should be. That man, amazing.
I tend to have mixed feelings about John Oliver. Most of his stuff is really great, but in 2016 he was kind of shilling and yeah.
Yeah, he shilled Hillary, I know. But he probably got paid to do it. He was on what?
Well,
HBO
of
or
course.
Showtime?
I think
HBO?
Showtime.
Yeah, something. But outstanding limited series, Godless.
I'm surprised SNL hasn't been mentioned.
It's been mentioned. That was a variety sketch show. But it should never be mentioned because it's always up for an Emmy every year as variety sketch show. That shows the reason why that category exists, Steve.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, historically there have been seasons of SNL that everyone looks back on and says, these were bad.
This year was
Then there's ones that were sketches that were just epic and everyone remembers, like the Needs More Cowbell one.
The last 2 years have been very on point for the political sketches.
Oh, yeah.
With all the Trump shit.
Oh yeah, God. Alec Baldwin has got to win something.
Have you seen... Now, I don't think he was... I don't think that he was put up for an Emmy for that one, but...
How?
Because it's all rolled into the series. It's not like individual performances aren't...
Oh, man, it should be, though. He had such a spot-on impression.
Have you seen the It one with Kelly Wise?
Oh, yeah, I did. That was
so great. Outstanding comedy series. Basically, all of these should be watched, if you can. Atlanta, Barry, Black-ish, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Glow. Glow is one that I need to get onto. It's the female wrestling one on Netflix. Marvelous Miss Maisel, Silicon Valley, and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I'm so sad Kimmy Schmidt's ending, though. There's they split the final season into 2 parts. And it looks like there's maybe one more full season or a half season.
Oh, okay. Since I don't really pay any attention at all to the Emmys, do they have an animated award?
It's not on the listings. There's something. There usually is.
I mean, if they don't, they really should. A lot of the best shows right now are animated.
But it's primetime Emmys, though, so that's the other thing. Is there's the prime times, and then there's the daytimes, and then there's the Golden Globes, which also do shit. There's a lot of fucking awards where it could be under. But the big thing is outstanding drama series, and again, every one of these shows you should watch. Game of Thrones.
I need to catch up on.
I watched last season. Holy fuck shit tits. It was a short season, but I think only the first or second episode was bad.
I've heard a lot of people have basically quit watching at this point, though.
Well, because it's gone beyond the books, and there's a chance that the books might alter to be different. Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, Americans, This Is Us, and Westworld.
Oh, I love Stranger Things.
Basically, my opinion, I will probably be able to check this next week when we do this, but I'm thinking that it's going to be down to Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, or Game of Thrones. That's my guess on who's going to win that.
Hopefully, but that seems based on, stuff we like. Usually, the people who win the Emmys or the shows are usually the artistic ones that I've never heard of, and they somehow just end up winning all the awards.
Full list, okay. Full list. I'm going to see if there's any animated ones, because that's one that wasn't listed on the CNN one that I did. And if there's one that's like
because I would be surprised if BoJack Horseman hasn't won at least a couple awards so far. Maybe not in the Emmys, but for something.
Oh, complete list. Okay. Complete list. Let's do this. Outstanding actress, lead actor, drama series. Outstanding children's program. Star Wars Rebels is one. Choreography, no. Cinematography for limited series. Godless. I wish they could all put on. Limited series, outstanding cinematography still, comedy series. Writing, there's writing ones. Writing for variety series. Commercials, oh my god, really? Don't want to do the commercials one. Directing. Literally, there's a lot of the backstage ones where they just do them before the fucking awards, or they do them right away, so that way they, build up the hype. Documentary series, drama series, technical direction. No.
Best gaffer.
Pretty much. Music. No. I mean, music would be good. I'm going to see what that's stuff. Limited series, movie. Electric Dreams. From Philip Tate from Amazon. Godless. Composition for series. Game of Thrones. Star Wars Rebels, Westworld. Original music. No. Outstanding variety special. Supporting actor in a comedy series. Supporting actor in drama series. Dinklage for Tyrion Lannister. And Jaime Lannister. And David Harbour for Hopper. It's pretty good. Supporting
those are some pretty good picks.
Supporting actress in a drama series. Millie Bobby Brown from fucking Stranger Things. Why is she not lead actress, though? Isn't that, like, her series? Like, what the fuck? You're gonna hate me for this one. Okay. Outstanding sound editing for comedy or drama 1 hour series. Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, God.
I know, right?
So bad that it's literally titled STD.
Governor's Award for 2018 is Star Trek, which is basically a Lifetime Achievement Award for a series. Thank you, God. Star Trek has been on for 50, 60 years now, so of course.
I'm hoping this new Picard one is good.
Yeah. Okay, animated. Outstanding individual achievement in animation is juried. Oh, okay. These are the behind the scenes ones, but ones that you will care about. Character animator from Adventure Time, Lindsay Small Butera. Stu Livingston, storyboard artist from Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie. Patrick Bryson, the background painter of Steven Universe. Outstanding casting for a limited series. Godless is there. That's pretty good because they had a pretty good cast. Sound editing for limited series. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks season 3 I still need to fucking watch. Speaking of TV shows, coming up soon, we will actually start having TV shows as part of our thing. We're going to start talking about those.
Yeah, once they all come back on the air.
I know some of them have, but nothing we've been watching.
Yeah, I'm just eagerly awaiting for the new South Park.
I know South Park's like a week and a half, 2 weeks away.
Oh, man.
Visual effects. Outstanding animated program. Okay. Baymax returns. Bob's Burgers. Rick and Morty. South Park. And The Simpsons. So, my guess is it's
Modern Simpsons is trash.
My guess is it's going to go between Pickle Rick episode or the Put It Down episode of South Park. Because it's...
most people agree that the last season of South Park was one of their weaker seasons.
But so the Put It Down episode was amazing.
That one it was. I have to agree, but
Pickle Rick will probably win.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rick and Morty nails it. Bob's Burgers is still pretty good consistently.
But I don't think, it's consistently good, but I don't know if it's gonna win.
But it's never amazing.
Yeah. Outstanding short form animated program. Of course, Steve. Adventure Time Ring of Fire episode. I don't know if that's the finale or a different one. There's Robot Chicken. Freshly baked Robot Chicken Santa Claus Pot Cookie Freak Out Special Edition.
I didn't even know that
they've just been doing specials.
That Robot Chicken was still going.
They've mostly been doing specials. They did a Walking Dead special last year. Steven Universe episode Jungle Moon. Fuck you, Teen Titans Go, you do not exist. But it was
God.
a 200th episode spectacular. Was on that. We Bear Bears. I've heard good things.
I like that one. My wife hates it.
Hurricane Hell. That episode. I'm going to see if there's anything else worth noting here. God, my fucking nose itches so bad right now. Outstanding character voiceover performance. Okay, this is something that I have personal... Oh, motherfucker! Okay. So... I am now not happy about this. After seeing who's nominated. So,
well, I told
Seth
you,
MacFarlane.
It's the Emmys. They always pick somebody that will piss you off.
Okay, Seth MacFarlane has been nominated twice for both American Dad and Family Guy.
Well, American Dad's still usually pretty good, with the exception of season 7, which was really weird.
And then also from Family Guy, Alex Borstein.
Yeah, Family Guy, though, has become almost unwatchable.
Most episodes are very bad. Some episodes have good moments, but yes. And then
so
Dan
now that the Orville is out, though, we know Seth MacFarlane isn't a talentless hack.
Oh yes, I'm surprised the Orville.
He's amazing with that.
The Orville isn't on any of these lists either.
Yeah, what
Fucking
the hell?
Christ, what the hell?
It is a million times better than Discovery.
It should be on this. It should be it. Hashtag Orville for Emmys 2019. Dan Castellaneta. Homer Simpson, Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons, and then Russi Taylor for the Mickey Mouse Halloween Spectacular.
And no DuckTales on the list?
No DuckTales. The thing, though, is that, like the Oscars, it's possible that there was a cutoff for when a series ended. Like, series that ended their seasons, if they weren't ending the series as a whole, might have been booted out for debuting later in the year, like DuckTales. Because DuckTales just ended season
And
1.
it already is getting another season.
So they might get on next year. So we'll see. Gonna keep going down.
I'm hoping Adventure Time wins.
Yep. Guest actor in a comedy series. Okay, there we go. They don't have... Oh, they've already got winners listed for that. They've got winners listed for a lot of these. Okay, never mind. I'm going to go back up and see what some of this shit is. Oh, it was already won by Alex Borstein. Son of a bitch. Okay, so... It looks like Robot Chicken won the short form, and Rick and Morty won!
Hooray!
So these are all ones that are done backstage anyway, or done the day before, so that's probably why these are all up.
Aren't most of them done like the day before?
Yeah, they only do the big ones, which makes me mad! They need to have like a 5-hour Emmys to actually give people fucking credit where credit's due, all the background people. Cat Williams, outstanding guest actor for Atlanta. Other noms were Bryan Cranston on Curb Your Enthusiasm, Donald Glover and Bill Hader for hosting Saturday Night Live, and Lin-Manuel Miranda for his Curb Your Enthusiasm. Fucking shit. I don't know. Just gonna keep going down the list here. Emmys.
Emmys are silly.
There's too many pages. I think we're done with the Emmys. And I'm wondering whether or not Fodda's gonna show up now. Oh, he's back online. Maybe he'll show up right in time for politics. So I'm gonna pull up the politics.
Do you still have any more entertainment news?
Not really. Where's your article, Steve? What were we going to talk about in politics? Just send it to me in a message or something.
I just went in order on the Discord from where we cut off last week.
Okay, fine. I'll just load them up.
Aren't you gonna give your usual speech?
Yeah, probably should, but in case Fodda shows up, you might want to stick around. But we are progressive people usually on this podcast. We will be going with progressive bent on the news, political and not political, coming up in the next segment. So if you're going to be offended by that, thank you for listening to us ramble on for the last hour and a half on what we just went over. But if you're willing to stick around and have a sense of humor and not your head up your ass, we will be going through and talking about a lot of shit. So, we have a lot to cover this week, but it's also not a lot to cover this week. So, I'm slowly loading these up. Where do you want to start, Steve?
I'm thinking the Trump administration transferred $9.8 million from FEMA to ICE.
There's an update to that one, right?
I must have missed it.
Total, they've gotten $200 million transferred to
and
ICE.
I heard that they were still complaining that they were like $1 million short.
Yep, I know. It is
so I find this news absolutely disgusting, considering 3,000 people died in Puerto Rico, and Trump handed out paper towels.
And
so now we find out he transferred so much money to, try to deport people instead of saving a U.S. territory.
But this happened this year. It's not something that happened when that happened. It's something that's happened in the last couple of months, Steve.
But still,
It's still
this is
fucking
right
horrifying.
when the newest hurricane is coming.
And they have said, we have enough money to deal with this hurricane. But, of course, we don't fully know yet because we don't know how bad the damage is going to be. Blech.
And this is supposed to be one of the worst ones in American history.
Well, to hit the Carolinas in American history. It's the worst one since, the 90s. And it's probably going to break records for rainfall, for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's going to be more danger of people drowning in the flood than the hurricane itself. But the hurricane's still not to be underestimated.
Yes, and,
But this is one of the most irresponsible things I've heard any politician do.
yeah. And, secondary story, where is it?
Oh, hey, Fodda just popped up.
What? Where? Who?
In the Discord.
Yeah, he's coming at a perfect time because he's the one who we were going to have on for the Article 13 for sure.
Yeah, that is some good timing. But yeah, this just, as someone who isn't a sociopath, really pisses me off. On a lighter note, there has been news reported that this hurricane has sucked up various sharks.
Oh, yes.
Making it a literal sharkicane.
The sharkicane, yes. We were going to talk about that. Thank you for reminding me.
So Sharknado has become real.
Yes, Raven. Sharknado has become real, and it is a sharkicane, and you will have sharks in your hurricane, motherfucker.
So I thought that was kind of funny, or at least ironic.
But yeah, tied into that with the ICE getting 200 million, they're stripping away citizenship, or not citizenship, passports and citizenship. Particularly the passports, from some Hispanic U.S. citizens who were in the military. Amendment. They're not stripping away citizenship, but citizenship
passports.
Citizenship and passports are usually stripped before genocides happen. They're starting with the passports with Hispanics in the South. Apparently, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of Latinos have been denied renewals of their passports. Some of which are in the military.
So if you're a conservative who's rage watching us at a later date, you should know, yeah, they're taking away passports from people who are legitimately in the U.S. military.
And legitimately citizens.
Based on the color of their skin.
And their country of origin of their family. I'm just very glad that they're not doing that to the children of the Italian immigrants, or I would probably be next on that fucking list. Because I'm second or third generation Italian here, so.
Well, you also have a very light complexion, which seems to be the only people the president likes.
I had to go outside for my other job, and because part of it involved driving a lift van, my left arm looks like I could possibly pass for someone from some parts of the Middle East, whereas my right arm is still plenty pale.
I thought you were going to say you could pass for an entree at Red Lobster.
No, that's my brother when he gets exposed to the sun. Sorry.
But yeah, this story, like, what the hell?
I mean, what the ever-loving fuck?
This is some martial law, like, Orwellian shit here.
And I will remind the world that, we don't want to be, living out Orwellian books. That is not a good idea. What we want to be doing is, not doing that. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. 1984 was not an instruction manual.
Speaking of Hurricane Aunt Flo, what was this article that you posted about firing Mueller after the hurricane?
Oh, the Hannity one. Fox News host Sean Hannity says Donald Trump will fire Robert Mueller after Hurricane Florence. It's speculation on Newsweek. However, Trump does reportedly call and talk to Hannity quite often and uses him as a mouthpiece. So it's possible that Hannity does, in fact, know something the rest of us don't.
The thing is that this is a bad idea for Trump because Manafort literally just flipped on him, and he knows that's bad. That's why he wants to do this now. But he also should know what we talked about last week about how Mueller has splintered his operations to a point where they can continue without him. So it would only make him look bad. Yeah, it's only going to make him look bad, and it's going to make him look bad right before we're supposed to be having the vote on Kavanaugh on the 20th.
Which is already a clusterfuck. I was doing research today on articles. Fox News had like 3 to 5 different articles basically calling Democrats' actions on Kavanaugh a witch hunt.
Because they found out that he tried raping somebody in high school. And then they suddenly got the hold of 60 plus signatures of other women from his time in high school and college, which is probably forged, by the way, because of the amount of time they were able, or how quickly they were able to turn over this letter saying, he's a good guy and never tried to fuck us.
When it really, it only takes one time to prove that otherwise, though.
Oh, God. The Business Insider one that you posted, I just saw the article. Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah. Trump reportedly thinks getting impeached after losing the midterms will help him win in 2020.
But only if he's not removed from office. If he
Clinton, that right there says that they're going to have to they're going to have to pull him out kicking and screaming because he's going to just try to stay there even while impeached. Like, well, I'm impeached, but I'm the president. It's like, no, you're not. That's what impeached means. So he's just going to, live in the White House and just wander around, and then Pence is just going to be like, don't mind him, he just kind of lives here, still thinks he's in charge.
The funny thing is that Manafort's the one who put Pence in. He's the one who suggested Pence as the VP. If Manafort flips and has info on Pence, we're not getting Pence if Trump gets impeached. It's an impeachment of both of them.
Possibly. It depends on how much Pence actually knows.
And then it goes to who? The Speaker of the House.
Is that Paul Ryan? I think?
Midterms. We could get a Democratic president. Steve.
Everyone in this country has absolutely no idea what is gonna go on.
Vote in November so that this madness fucking ends. We're tired of spending an hour and a half of our week talking about Trump.
I miss boring.
Many hours off stream talking about what the fuck happens on a day-to-day basis to figure out what we're even going to cover during this segment.
So he thinks if the Democrats impeach him that it's going to look bad on the Democrats. Mm-hmm. And will get him reelected in 2020, despite being impeached. Now, I have no idea, but are you even eligible for reelection if you're impeached? I don't think anyone's ever tried. I mean, common sense would say no, but it's never come up, ever.
So, here's the funny thing. The next thing I want to talk about is very bad news.
Which one?
The Jeep Pie one that I found.
I really hate a Jeep Pie.
So, because of a ruling in our lovely home state of Minnesota, the FCC chairman thinks that the vote 3-2 to roll back net neutrality is the final say, and that is going to be the nationwide rule from here on. But it is far from the final word because there's still plenty shit. But the case that he's using is a ruling that found that the state government does not have the authority to regulate voice over IP phone services.
So our lovely, pretending to be Democratic Minnesota government screwed us yet again?
This is not the government, this is the courts. But it's voice over IP phone services, which is essentially cell phones. Yeah,
that has nothing to do with the internet.
Not really.
And anyone with a brain should, see that.
I mean, on the plus side, our...
Also, I want to give Ajit Pai an Emmy for the most punchable face. Just look at that smug... Just look at that smug grin. I have never seen anyone this smug. Or wanted to punch somebody just based on their face.
But, on positive notes, what we've got here is California is enacting a bill that would be stronger than any net neutrality rules that have already existed. It's already passed the state assembly vote and approved in their Senate. Now it's just waiting on the governor's signature.
So once again, California is the last bastion of hope for our union?
Kind of. And the funny thing is this is a state that's got both Democrats and Republicans. And it's not entirely Democrat run in the state level, to the point where the assembly vote, 61-18, was all Dems. So we have there is a decent amount of support with Republicans against Ajit Pai's bullshit.
Well, yeah, because Republicans have to realize this affects them too.
Well, yeah, because it's terrible. It's terrible fucking shit.
All of their business interests are at risk with them gutting the internet as well.
And then the California professor...
Also, Fodda's here, by the way.
Hello?
He's just muted until we address him.
I am indeed.
Oh, hello, Fodda. Welcome.
How's it going?
Welcome
I was
to
listening
the
to your
Atomic
discussion.
Silver Lining.
Thank you for having me.
This is fairly late, but we did not know when you would be able to show up, because tell us about yourself and the reason why you are late, other than the fact that you had a family function to go to.
Yeah, I got kids, basically.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, they're my excuse for everything. Like, if I'm late for anything, it's the kids, like 100%. Yeah, no, I'm late today just because, like you say, we went and saw the parents. Had a bit of a day there, and I just ended up coming back like 4 hours later than we were expecting to. But yeah, I'm Fodda. I exist on the internet and in real life. Unsurprisingly, I've got a YouTube channel, as Disdonn knows. He's been on there a few times. So if you want to see him getting beaten by some British guys, come and see him play golf. was kind of fun.
Oh, you do the golf with friends with him as well?
Yeah, we did America versus the UK.
And I got hosed.
That game is insane.
It's good fun though. It's good fun. We had some crazy rules on, which is always fun. So, I mean, IRL. I'm a games programmer. I make games for a living, which is kind of fun. I work at Splash Damage.
Splash Damage? Is there anything that we might have played that you have worked on that you can say that you've worked on?
I worked on Gears of War 4, if anyone played that. I think a few people played it. Batman Origins, that was kind of fun. Dirty Bomb, which apparently was like downloaded by 8 million people, I found out recently, which is kind of cool. I don't know about stuff before that. Like I worked on some shit games like sorry, I don't know if I can swear. I worked on Bloodforge. Oh shit, yeah, that's what I like to hear. I worked on a game called Bloodforge, which was pretty dire. It was like a poor man's God of War. Smart As, which was like a Vita game. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It was kind of cool. Yeah, like a bunch of stuff. I've been all over the place basically. Worked at a few companies, so it's kind of cool. I like it. It's good fun.
So on that note, you missed a very long discussion on the Nintendo Direct, which was the video games section. I know for a fact that you own a Nintendo Switch, and I'm not sure if you own a 3DS or not. But
yeah.
What is
I've got
your
one of those.
opinion on the Nintendo Direct? If you have seen it, anything you're looking forward to coming out, anything you have opinions on the upcoming subscription service that starts like next week? Anything
I'm
like
fine
that?
with that. Yeah, I mean it's pretty controversial, right? Like people like to complain about losing out on their free stuff, which is fair enough. But like honestly, given the fact that like Sony and Microsoft charge already,
and they charge how much more? Like 4 times?
Yeah, I mean quite a bit more. I mean the Sony one ends up being like a $5 a month or something as well. So it's what I mean. Like it's as far as I'm concerned, like Nintendo taking their sweet time about doing it, and even now they're doing it. It's like what, 20 quid a month, 20 quid a year or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're getting a bunch of stuff for that money too. Yeah,
I saw some video of like a Netflix style like NES game thing where it had like a wall of old school box art, and you could just like choose the game you wanted to play and jump in, which looked really cool. Kind of like the idea of that.
Online multiplayer for old ass games, so you could play we could play together on
exactly,
Ice
right?
One day.
I want to play some Double Dragon with you. That's my jam. Like Double Dragon 2 was my absolute jam when I was a kid.
Oh, those games were so hard.
I know. Say again?
Jimmy and Bimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy and Bimmy. 100% Jimmy and Bimmy. Yeah, you mentioned the Nintendo Direct though. Like honestly, the one thing I take away from that was like I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan, so obviously excited for that game. But as soon as I saw Isabelle in Smash, like I realized I've got a new main basically.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be I'm probably gonna have to do the Simon / Richter Belmont, and I will have to face off against you and just whip you and say,
no.
Back, Vile Demon! Back! Back from you came.
You can't whip Isabelle though, man. She's too nice. Like I find it funny because the internet both loves and hates her. Like I've talked about it before, but like I've got a group of friends at work, and we're like fully addicted to Smash. Like we play Smash every day together, and there's some hot discussion in the chat room right now about Isabelle's inclusion. Some people are for it. Other people just want her to fucking die, basically.
Well, I don't see why people wouldn't. I mean, we only just in the last game got the Animal Crossing villager, so the series is completely unrepresented.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tom Nook in there would have been nice. I was kind of excited towards the end. I thought that was what they were indicating, but
it was almost like the DDD / K. Rool thing from the last Direct.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? You've just made me realize something as well. The one thing they pointed out before was that every character reveal had somebody die in it. Now, I from memory, I don't remember anybody dying in Isabelle's character reveal.
Well, she's too nice to murder anyone.
Yeah, I know, right? So, although you say that,
nobody dies in Animal Crossing.
No, that's true. This is true. No, I mean nobody dies in Nintendo games in general, right? They generally get defeated. I mean, Ganon is kind of the exception to that rule. I mean, you don't get stabbed through like the chest or like the head with a giant sword.
I don't know. Mario and Luigi look pretty dead.
They do, to be fair. Like, was it Ridley and the old Death from Castlevania? Yeah, handing out some punishment.
You've seen that I've been playing a lot of Castlevania, especially given that I've been doing DGDS. So definitely when Simon got announced, I'm just like, yes, this is going to be one of the characters I must learn to main.
It's an exciting time, right? Like I'm looking forward to this game. I'm super hyped for it. I'll be honest. Like, there's not many other games I'm that hyped for. I was kind of that hyped for Fallout, but now my hype has switched. I've derailed the Fallout hype train. I've jumped on a different one instead.
I know, right? And how's it feel being on Twitch? We're currently streaming right now while we're recording this. Craig is going to give me the ability to edit everything after the fact and get a better version for Patreon and other areas later, but I don't
how do I feel about Twitch? I like
Twitch. You're usually on the YouTubes and the Twitter.
Yeah, I'm a YouTube man. Basically, the only reason I'm not on Twitch is because it's very hard to find like an extended period of time to sit on my computer. Like having the kids means that like I get like 20-minute interspersed kind of patches of using my PC and then having to jump off and do things. So.
Which is perfect timing for your great series that you usually do, which is your Prison Architect, your Theme Hospital.
Oh, I love Prison Architect.
Yeah, man, Prison Architect is so good, honestly.
If you want hundreds of episodes of Prison Architect with his subtle British tones and wit, go to Fodda's channel. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I enjoy Prison Architect, man. Like we had a series when we were building a city instead of a prison. Like that was so much fun. Just trying to break the game in different ways.
I also like how you can build a prison and then send it to a friend and try jailbreak mode.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I usually just like to get the lighter and burn the entire thing down and walk out.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's like the easiest way to break out.
When I did an escape in my first prison, I think that was how I got out. But it was I think it was one of my gang members set fire to like one of the offices. I gave him a lighter, and then I went in for solitary. And when I came out, like half the building was on fire.
Yeah, like the lighter is just so OP. It even burns the concrete.
It is. There was a beautiful moment though where I was walking around the prison chatting away while I was recording, and I suddenly realised that there were no other prisoners in my prison, and basically everybody had escaped out of this giant hole in the wall. And I was just oblivious, kind of wandering around trying to work out how to escape before I kind of clicked that there was nobody left. That was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, since we have you here, and I'm not entirely sure what Brexit means for this thing that we were going to discuss, though I'm not sure if we actually...
well, it ties in with the Jeep Pie thing.
Yeah, it does, which we were just talking about. The Article 11 and Article 13, the European Union clusterfuck of copyright.
I know, man. Have you seen those? That's a classic case of people who have absolutely no idea what they're making decisions on something that the rest of the world, affects everybody, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty messed up.
Because that's what we were just talking about, was Ajit Pai and his whole net neutrality repeal, which is still in the process of being fought legally. So it's not actually been enacted that well.
But since it's America, it's not just stupidity, it's corporate greed.
Yeah, you guys do get hammered by a lot of that, don't you? So.
Oh, yeah, the entire system here is corrupt.
Our current situation with El Cheeto dictator is, entirely a result of corruption.
I thought your president was, a wonderful man that everybody loved. I mean, that's the image that we get in the media of you guys, anyway. Just putting it out there.
That's what he wants people to think. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I actually have no idea what most of the other countries think, aside from the news we hear about ones that hate him.
I think we get a lot of stuff. We basically get told about all the stupid things that your president does, and I mean, not that many good things. I don't know how many good things he actually does, but like we don't generally hear about them, if you know what I mean.
Well, one of our favorite stories on the show was when Britain put up a giant Trump baby balloon.
Oh yes, yeah, that was a wonderful moment for us. I think I was quite proud of my country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very wonderfully kind of it's a passive aggressive way of expressing.
It's such a British way of dealing with it. I love it.
Yeah, I was proud. I'll be honest, I was proud. But yeah, you mentioned the copyright law. Yeah, I mean, that stuff is just messed up. Honestly, like the problem is, right? It's starting to break in some of the media outlets now, and I think it's probably breaking in some of them because they've realised that people know about it already, and if they don't write on it, it's problematic. But like those two laws benefit news outlets, right? So it means that
they don't want
like
to say anything.
Yeah, they want these things to come into effect because at the end of the day, like they're going to get more money from corporations and from news aggregate sites and things like that. You know, it's not in their benefit to get people riled up to go against it, which is I think it's probably the main reason why you haven't seen it reported on all that much. So it's good that it's kind of.
I've heard some people going as far as to say that this might be the end of the EU if this passes.
It's an interesting one, right? Like I've talked to some people who were so anti-Brexit before, who have basically taken one look at this situation. They're internet, you know, they were internet kids. You know, they're adults now, but they're like me. They grew up in the internet age. You know, everything was coming. It was new technology, etc. It was all exciting. But yeah, like they've taken one look at this thing and gone, well, you know, at least we've got Brexit coming up. It's total reversal of opinion purely based on, you know, the threat to their free and open internet. So,
but it's still a threat to the free and open internet for you and us in the United States, because even if our net neutrality repeal gets repealed and we continue with the way things have been, this is going to affect places like Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, regardless, and we don't even live in Europe.
No, I think what we'll probably find is like if this stuff came into effect, you've got the problem that like all of these different countries are allowed to enforce their own like laws based around the rules that the EU lay down. So every country is going to have a different rule about what you can do with the stuff that's produced from that country.
And
so that's going to be
20 or so different countries right now.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute clusterfuck to try and manage. So I think what you'll probably find is that companies like outspoken companies like Google, who have turned around and said we don't, you know, this is bad and we shouldn't be doing this, will probably just shut their gates to those countries. You know what I mean? Like they won't provide the services that those countries have a problem with, and they won't allow
YouTube.
Yeah, and they won't allow
people that will not be able to watch your videos or my videos or any of that shit anymore.
So this is going to end up basically being like China's internet, where everyone has their own strictly controlled version of it in their own country.
I mean, I can imagine it becoming a little bit like, you know, it's. I mean, I don't understand how they think they can manage something like this. You know what I mean? Like it is going to end up just being, and to use the word again, an absolute clusterfuck. And I think what you're probably going to find is that people just start getting very angry about not being able to understand what's going on. And when like, I mean, we've seen examples of companies shutting down services before, right? Like Google threw their toys out the pram when, for example, Amazon started using. They wrote their own YouTube app for the Fire Stick, which basically bypasses Google's advertising, so that they could run their own advertising to make money off people watching YouTube videos. And obviously Google didn't like that, so they like I say, threw their toys out the pram and basically shut down the server end for this app, so that it didn't have access to any of the APIs, etc., that it was calling to get the data back. So now the Fire Sticks just have when you open the YouTube app, it just has a message saying, sorry, you can't use this. You should download Chrome instead.
That's kind of awesome, though.
Yeah. But the thing is, they have the power to do this. They have prior form and doing this to companies and to countries and things anyway. So if they really want to make a stand, like, it's not hard for them to do that. So yeah, I'd be interested to see where it goes. Sorry, that's my rant over anyway.
I remember when they were first doing the net neutrality vote, how so many websites on the internet had buffering system in place,
Yes.
where they would literally lag, without having reason, lag everything on the website or censor things on the website, and then have a link at the bottom to like write your representative, because of how horrifying the idea of that being widespread would be.
Yeah.
My favorite was Pornhub.
Yeah,
Oh
Pornhub.
yeah. Good old Pornhub, eh? They're always on the forefront of political discussions. That's the funniest thing about them.
And Pornhub still hasn't allowed Jim Sterling to make his own channel there.
Yeah, Pornhub has been a regular mention on our show, oddly enough.
My favorite thing about Pornhub is just when people take those videos where they're like, oh, I don't know, 3 women get rammed by a guy, and then you watch it and it's, I don't know, a WWE video or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they take something which is totally off topic, and
I like when they do the ones that are like, one man fucks entire nation and then puts up a Trump speech.
Yeah, Trump giving a little speech about something he's going to do. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Yeah, I love that stuff. That always makes me
Like,
laugh.
somehow they end up just in the middle of political activism.
Yeah. I mean, their users have probably got a lot to say for that. But at the end of the day, the website allows that stuff to be there, and they find it funny and they accept it. And props to them for doing that. At the end of the day.
I mean, what was it? Trying to remember. Oh yeah, wasn't it Pornhub that we had to discuss when we were talking about Ted Cruz getting caught with his internet, and we had to talk about Pornhub giving a lifetime subscription to Kanye West, and
Jim Sterling trying to get on
Pornhub for his YouTube channel because they've been taking down his videos.
Also, Alex Jones being caught with transgender porn.
From Pornhub.
Okay.
Yeah, so it seems like almost every week.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you for continuing the tradition without even knowing the tradition exists.
I know. I try my best. Yeah, I think Pornhub and gaming is pretty intrinsically linked, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised to start see some Pornhub sponsored esports teams, if there aren't already.
They should.
That is probably the next step.
They all they need to do is give them pink uniforms and purple helmets, and I'll be happy.
That would be awesome.
Pink uniforms and purple headsets, yes.
Now if I ever become an esports pro, I know what team I want to back.
You need to write a letter to your nearest Pornhub representative.
But yeah, it's nice to know that the UK is possibly going to avoid some of it, but not all of it, because of what worldwide consequences might come about because of this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to watch over the next few years, honestly. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make to the end user. I mean, the copyright stuff can be pretty heavy, but the thing is, like, Google and companies like that are going to be fighting it for a while, right? Like, they're not just going to shut off their services to the millions of users.
The big concern, though, is that since this is such a big thing, that people are likely to just use bots to try to get everything patrolled.
Yeah. What I dismay at is the idea of like a pre-approval process, if you know what I mean, because it will be just bot run at the end of the day, and it will be looking for specific triggers. And I don't know, if you have to upload your video and then wait 6 hours while it goes into a queue to be run for a pre-approval algorithm while they decide if it's copyright or not, like that's not going to be good at the end of the day.
No, and with all the advertising bullshit that's already happened, it's just gonna fuck YouTube so hard.
Yeah, that's true.
But you just said that you have to go in the chat.
Yes, sorry, I'm just listening to I'm being a dad at the moment. I've got two baby monitors, right? Like, one's in my son's room and one is in our bedroom with the cot, because our baby's only 3 months old. and they're around my neck
I can't
a little bit
remember
like
if
Predator
I said
trophies.
it when it happened, but congratulations on the
Oh,
new baby.
yeah, you did. You know, you've always been around. You've been around.
I just
most
had
of
surgery not
most of
that
my
long ago,
kids' lives.
man. I'm not sure what I've done or said anymore.
Well, you know, I appreciate having you around, Disdonn. Basically, like I say, you've been around most of my kids' lives. At the end of the day, I think you've seen most of the funny shit that they've got up to.
Yeah, that is true, because I think we've been talking and stuff for at least the last 2 years, because that's when I started back into YouTube. So
Yeah, you know what? I think it will be coming up to 2 years. I think I started my channel in October, and you were one of the first few people I started talking to. So, you know, you gotta keep those communities and socializing and all the rest of that stuff going. So it's important. We've got to stick together. This crazy thing we're calling the internet nowadays. It's getting so. It's gonna be a rebellion. I'm telling you, people are gonna rise up, keyboards in hand.
keyboard in hand, just
Yes.
waving it around, being like, "You will not take our internet, you sons of bitches."
I was going to say we'd use our mice like
You'll take our keyboards from our cold dead hands.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say we'd use our mice like nunchucks, but nobody has a cabled mouse anymore, so
I
can't do
do.
that.
My gaming mouse is cabled, but
Oh, nice.
I don't think I want to be whipping that around. That's a $40 mouse.
Yeah.
Damn good
You know.
sensitivity.
But then for $40, is it going to break before somebody's nose does? That's the question you've got to ask yourself, basically.
It is mostly metal.
So, right. Well, I'm going to have to love you guys and leave you.
Well, that's okay. That's usually the way that the UK goes. Is they love and leave the United States, and then they come
That's
back
right.
for more later.
Yeah, we do, and I will do. I'll come back for more. I'm hankering for some more American spankering.
Well, just let us know when you can possibly be on next. Whether or not it's in a 20-minute increment or half an hour or whatever. Last week we had Agnew the doctor on, and he was on for a good hour. Probably
Nice.
would have been less if my internet didn't shit the bed. Thank God it hasn't done that today.
Right, that's good. Well, yeah, no, hopefully next time I'll join you for a bit longer, so we can have a bit more of a chat about what's going on. So yeah, right. Well, thank you very much for having me then, and I'll speak to you guys soon.
No worries, Fods.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Have a good evening.
And for those who are watching now, the links to his channel will be in the YouTube archive video. So check him out, man.
Thank you very much. See ya.
See you, Fods. All right.
So which one should I do next?
I don't know. I don't even know if we want to do all of these, because some of these kind of are... some of them are very much intrinsically tied to the Trump coup thought and Trump going nuts because of Manafort and Kavanaugh shit. So let's go to something somewhat funny. Let's do the Tesla thing.
The one with Elon Musk bashing his head on the thing, or
The one where his entire stock is kind of crumbling because he's being dumb.
yeah, Tesla's not doing so hot lately.
And it's not because of their actual business. It's because of their leader.
Yeah, for some reason, Elon Musk is now becoming a rather eccentric public figure.
He's always been, but he's becoming more eccentric as the days go on. So apparently, like last week, he was smoking weed on the Joe Rogan show, and now he's...
Hilariously, stock took a huge dip because of that for some reason.
And he's been wielding
Seems contradictory
flamethrowers
because a lot of marijuana stocks have been doing quite well, but Elon Musk smokes pot and his stock goes down. Like, what? How does this work?
and how he was trying to take the company private, then the stock went down, and yeah, it's just, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure what happened with him rescuing a bunch of kids. Then something about put him back.
It's almost like he's a non-political version of Trump. You can't tell what the fuck he's doing from day to day because he's just going mad from lack of sleep.
That would explain a lot of the crazy crap he's been doing lately.
He's set on lots of places that he only gets like 2 to 3 hours a night.
Sounds like he needs to like take a nap, unless he wants to lose like billions of dollars.
Apparently, he would rather lose billions of dollars than take a nap. Fucking fly. Other stuff. What have we got? Trump.
Well, here's the one you linked to me I haven't had time to read yet. The Texas board votes to eliminate Hillary Clinton and Helen Keller from history curriculum.
This is one that if my wife was around, she would have kind of tried to play devil's advocate for, because she understands that nobody fucking pays attention and they're trying to do stupid standardized test bullshit. But here's the thing. Texas is one of those states where their education system is not that great. And I'm sorry if you're from Texas, but it's the truth. Especially compared to Minnesota, which has one of the best. Also truth. But basically, if they take it out of the book, chances are teachers aren't going to talk about it. Especially since if it's out of the book, it's out of the tests. If it's out of the standardized tests, people are not going to give two fucking shits. So they're talking about getting rid of Helen Keller from the history books because of things. They're going to be reintroducing stuff about the Alamo, duh. They're going to amend stuff about the Civil War to basically say that the North was wrong, as per the South. They're going to be removing Hillary Clinton from the government thing as being the first major female nominated by a party. But they're trying to get rid of Helen Keller for citizenship stuff.
Well, the thing with Hillary Clinton is she's actually not the first woman to run for president.
No, but the first to be elected by a major party.
Also not entirely sure that's true. I forget the name, but on one of those history channels I watch, there was actually a woman who took over as a senator for her husband and actually ran as a Republican for president. And this was in, I believe, the 50s.
Another negative thing is removing the phrase, describe the optimism of the many immigrants who had sought a better life in America on social issues affecting women, minorities, children, immigrants, and urbanization. Basically, trying to get push immigrants to the back page, obviously. There's also reintroducing of eugenics into the causes, effects, and social issues section of U.S. history from 1877 to present. Positive is that they're going to be talking about Dolores Huerta, which is a significant leader to the feminist and women's rights movements. But they are removing Hillary Clinton from contributions of significant political and social leaders in the United States. They're also going to be highlighting more on Billy Graham and getting rid of a couple of other people. So it's kind of an annoying...
What they need to do is actually focus more on what Helen Keller did after all of the events in the Miracle Worker.
You mean like helping invent Braille?
Well, that's part of it. She also, it was actually rather prominent. I can't remember if she was a socialist or a communist. But kind of like Martin Luther King Jr., history's been whitewashed to the point where they just try to make it a nice story and not talk about anything political with them.
And that's probably why they are removing her, is because, oh, it's not important. It's a blind and deaf woman who learned how to speak.
If she was alive today, she would have been rather vocal about universal basic income.
And she probably would be one of the people that I'd be helping with my current job, serving as a relay for the hearing impaired and deaf. Because they do have special software for blind people. I found out about that this week. That there's ways for the blind to use our stuff, which is awesome. Blind and deaf people need to be able to, have conversations too. Motherfucker. I'm kind of.
But it just sounds like Texas trying to whitewash more history, while still complaining about, the Civil War monuments.
We lost, oh god.
Why do you want to get rid of history? They say as they get rid of history.
Exactly. It's not the history they want, so it's the thing. It's just like how Trump tries to get rid of things that he doesn't like. It's terrible. So where are we going next? Are we just going to try and summarize the shit that Trump's done this week? Because it's not a lot. It's almost all related to Manafort.
Yeah.
It's
Let's see. Here's one from Fox News of all places. Trump almost fired off tweet that could have started war. Bob Woodward tells Dana Perino. They don't say what the tweet would have been, but
it involved
North Korea, I believe. Yeah, a tweet he almost put out could have started a war with North Korea, he said.
Yeah, and I mean...
So the FBI stepped in and told him no.
We were already worried he was going to do that last year.
I'm wondering what the hell it could have been, because they let him get away with the Fire and Fury tweets.
And that one pushed, like, fucking... That one alone pushed the atomic clock, doomsday clock, so close to midnight. It's like, fucking fuck, man. Like, seriously. He's also afraid that there's going to be a coup because of the op-ed, and he's seeing enemies everywhere. He's freaking out, which brings us to
so it sounds like he's just pacing around the White House, just freaking out.
Which brings us to the Deadpool, where we have still not got any fucking winners. Honestly, I think we both should just pick Manafort this week, or Mueller this week, just to see if he fucking actually does it.
I don't know.
Because that's my pick now. I'm switching from Sessions to Mueller. Because it seems like he's moved his target back to Mueller. And God only knows. If he does it, it will be catastrophic for his presidency. And a lot of things. So... I'm calling it.
It seems like he's ignoring the thing with John Kelly, but I don't know. Yeah, this is a hard one because it depends how much he believes that Pence was the one who wrote that op-ed.
Yeah, I mean...
So I'm going to go back to Sessions, I think. Because I'd say it's 50-50 whether it was Pence or Sessions that wrote that.
Yeah, it's a hard call.
Like, it easily could have been Sessions writing it and including those words to make it look like Pence. Just to, get Trump off of his ass.
Yeah. And to those listening now and in the future, sorry for the extra long episode. It's just been a big week on a lot of things. But
here's the big one. The Trump falsely claims nearly 3,000 Americans in Puerto Rico did not die.
Yeah.
He literally thinks the Democratic Party is inflating the numbers. Because he only saw, I think, 10 or 12 people when he went there? And this all happened after he left?
He went there immediately after the hurricane. They hadn't even gotten to certain parts of the country yet to get any sort of death toll.
Yeah, he said he only heard 6 to 18 deaths, and now it's 3,000. So now he's mad.
They're still increasing the amount of people that are dead from 9/11. Not by a lot, but because of the amount of people that are still missing, they're slowly increasing that death toll as they're finding more and more remains and stuff.
And most of these are because the country was without power
for months afterwards. This is a country that gets hot as fucking balls, and it was mostly the elderly who are already susceptible to losing power and having death because they need the power for like.
Think of this. What would you do if you didn't have a refrigerator for over a month?
I would be pretty well fucked because of my celiac. I would not be able to eat a lot of food.
And then, I mean, it wouldn't just be your house. Like the entire place is without power, so you couldn't just go to a restaurant because all of their food is spoiled too because they don't have refrigeration. So you're basically relying on like canned food.
So there's a lot of people who are going to be having to eat, canned and boxed food and cook over an open flame instead of actually using any sort of cooking tops. There's no way to refrigerate or reheat, so anything that doesn't get eaten has to be thrown out. Or, you just have a big meal with your neighbors, the ones who are still alive, and just try and do what you can.
And his solution to this was to throw paper towels.
It's fucking terrible. And now we get another hurricane, and we're going to see what his response is. Though right now we're looking at about, as of today, it's like 12 people. And it's still dumping a shit ton of rain. It's slowly working its way up the inland and up the coast. So it's going to be dumping rain for days until it dissipates completely.
Yeah, 80% of Puerto Ricans have said that Trump handled this poorly.
Well, duh.
I mean, yeah, duh, but that's still a significant statistic. To the point where, at first, the governor of Puerto Rico was actually, supportive of Trump, and now he's finally changed his mind after that statistic came out, because he realizes if he backs Trump, he's not getting reelected.
And then
so one of our own territories is pissed at our country.
Yeah. They don't want to be a state no more.
Yeah, this is going to have long-term ramifications for the U.S.
So what should we talk about next? The leaked video from Google.
Yeah, that was another one you showed me that I hadn't had time to look at.
Basically, there's a video showing that Google's toxic executives were perturbed by the election of Donald Trump, which was leaked on Breitbart. Basically, allowing Alex Jones and Breitbart to keep saying they're putting out a bias against conservatives and burying good news about our president, blah 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 blah. When it's an hour-long video about the fucking weekly meeting saying that his election is in contrast to the company's values. With this, Ajit Pai bullshit, with all of his racism and sexism and everything.
I mean, yeah, they said that they're against conservatives, but they haven't taken any action to censor them.
No.
Because that would also go against their company values.
But it's also worth noting that most of the people who were in the room are immigrants. So of course they're going to have a negative outlook on Trump. Their very lives are in danger because of this man.
And it's not like there's not plenty of extremely conservative companies that actually are taking action against people. Like Papa John's, Hobby Lobby. I still think the giant Nike protest is hilarious.
Yeah, we're in week 2 of that now, and they still haven't stopped their protest, but the memes coming out are even better.
Oh yeah,
I saw one earlier
the memes
this
are
week.
just getting better.
I saw one earlier this week with Chewbacca on it, and it was just a bunch of, roaring noises.
I like the Beavis and Butthead one that just says, "You said do it."
And then there was the one that came out pretty quickly after, which was from Disenchantment, the devil Lucy.
Yeah, do it.
Just do it. Do it. Of course, do it.
Yeah,
That's what
these are just gold.
Life is pain. The Meeseeks. Life is pain, Jerry.
But it's like one of these things, they can't really prove that Google's done anything. They still pop up in search engines.
If they had done something, they would stop popping up in search engines. But it's the thing is that these people are so up their own ass and think that they're so good that
And once again, it's a double standard, because when Papa John's and Hobby Lobby did their things, they were absolutely fine with it. But now that they think Google doesn't like them, now they're mad, even though they haven't done anything.
It's fucking terrifying.
Just like with the statues. Oh, it's our history! Then they go on to erase history.
I know. Then there's the Omarosa playing new tapes. Was that one you put on, or was that me?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't even load that one up because I thought we were going long, and it's like, oh, well, that's a lot less significant than Manafort now. Sure, Omarosa might have something, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to Manafort.
Because that's the only two things that I've got left is the Kavanaugh
Which one?
and the Manafort. Kavanaugh,
oh, I still have the author of How to Murder Your Husband arrested for allegedly killing her husband.
That's one that I put on just for shits and giggles because the title tells you everything.
No, I was the one that found that one.
Yeah, the title tells you everything, but I closed out of that because it's like the title tells you everything. It's just a funny little side note.
Yeah, it was worth bringing up because it's kind of funny.
It's a nice bit of levity before we get back into the crazy.
It's like, you don't say.
It's like, oh, she wrote a book about murdering husbands, and then she murdered her husband, and they arrested her because they thought that she murdered her husband because she's written books about how to murder your husband and get away with it? I wonder.
So where should we start on more of this Kavanaugh crap?
Well, first and foremost, Dems have found someone who has written a letter about having been sexually assaulted while they were both in high school.
From what I've heard, this has escalated now to the point it wasn't talking about just sexual harassment. They're talking about full-on rape at this point. He had attempted to rape her and put his hand over her mouth and turn the music up.
Yes.
But she somehow got away.
Her words, I thought he might inadvertently kill me. He was trying to attack me and remove my clothing. She told no one of the incident until 2012 when she was in couples therapy with her husband. The therapist notes portions of which were provided by Ford to the and reviewed by the Washington Post do not mention his name, but say she reported that she was attacked by students from an elitist boys' school who went on to become highly respected and high-ranking members of society in Washington. The notes say 4 boys were involved, which was an error on the therapist's part. Ford said there were 4 boys at the party, but only 2 in the room. So basically, it was not just Kavanaugh, but one of Kavanaugh's buddies from his private boys' school. And the thing about this is, shortly after this leaked out, Republicans released a letter from like 60 women saying that Kavanaugh's a great man and would never do anything like this.
And also, Dianne Feinstein kept this a secret from all the other Democratic senators, mostly to protect the victim's name.
Well, yeah, because...
And I think we're legally obligated to say this is alleged, but this is the current news right now.
I mean, yes, it's alleged, but the fact that there's even an allegation of this, with the person who's about to be voted on for Supreme Court, this was brought to the attention so that way they can try and delay the vote until they get all of his fucking emails and documents that they've been trying to get from fucking Trump, that he's blacklisted from them because executive privilege. But it wasn't his executive privilege to say. It's fucking Bush's. You should ask Bush, who's probably pissed as fuck.
Also, there is still the stuff we discussed last week, talking about how they actually have proof of him lying under oath now, which should basically stop this already, but they're still pushing him through. Now
they're planning on voting on Thursday, or was it Friday?
Now with an alleged rape as well, and they're still going to push him through.
Yeah, Thursday.
Republicans are prepared to pay this ultimate toll to rob the country.
They're trying their damnedest to push him through with all of this controversy, with all of this problem, with everything basically putting up big red flags saying, you do it, your fucking party's done.
They know their party is done.
Why are they trying to rob the country? Why are they trying to do any of this shit right now? It's
because
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure they're doing it because they know their party is done.
And that's the other thing, is like Trump was the other thing we said earlier about how Hannity was saying Trump's going to fire Mueller. It's all about them trying to keep Trump in office because they know that Trump is that kind of crazy where he would try... There's been fucking people saying that he's had shit pulled off his desk and tweets kept from being tweeted. Is there a possibility that he's already drafted an executive order to basically suspend elections to fucking make himself a goddamn dictator? I'm sure he's thought about it. The man idolizes...
so far,
Putin.
Nothing's been leaked of him of pulling anything like that off of his desk yet.
But it's not saying that it's not possible to happen. And that's the ultimate fear, is that he does something...
Another thing, oh my god, how did we forget this one? The real coup de grace. That new app. It's not an app.
I linked that to you because that was something that I wanted to show you. Samantha Bee made an app that is not an app. It's
not that one, but you can go anyway.
It's a game, but it's not a game. It's basically a trivia show thing where you can possibly win real money while she's doing her show. Basically, it's a way to get informed for the election.
Which is a good idea, I think. But what I was talking about is the presidential alert system.
Fuck. That's not an app. That's not an app.
Well, it's a phone thing. That's why I said it. That's why I corrected myself and said it's not an app. But
do you know? It's the if anyone who's listening is in the United States, you probably had to either opt out or deal with the emergency alert system, where your cell phone, based upon GPS location, will give you alerts of elders going missing, Amber Alerts for children, severe weather, and other like emergency services. These are things that were enacted during Obama to make sure that people were made aware of actual emergencies. Now, Trump is going to be doing the final piece of that, which is national emergencies that the president is supposed to have jurisdiction over. Basically, the president is supposed to say, hey, there's a possible impending nuclear strike. There's this thing that's possible national emergency. Like a 9/11 event would be something that would be cause for this. but it's Trump that's going to be in charge. So the test is supposed to come out
most
this
people
week.
think that he's going to use it like he does Twitter.
Mm-hmm. It's not out of the fucking realm of possibilities. Trust me.
But
3
I'm
a.m.,
just eagerly
Mueller
waiting
witch
for
hunt.
the alert of national emergency. Mueller's after me, help!
Mueller's after me. It's a
He
fucking witch
got
hunt.
me! Mueller got me! Tweeting this out as we speak. Over the national
not a crook.
emergency.
I'm not a crook. I promise. I'm bigly winning. Yes. Trump 2020.
But we're probably going to be looking forward to weekly witch hunt tests.
Weekly? That's possibly daily, Steve.
Well, he
This is
still
gonna be
has
a shit
Twitter.
show. I know, but there's talk of him being removed from Twitter. His personal
Oh,
account
God,
has,
yeah.
because he's doing the same shit that Alex Jones did to get booted off, his personal account, because it's a personal account, he still would be able to use the POTUS one, which is one that he'd have to be severely restricted from, by the way. In
that case, yeah, he probably would co-opt the national emergency system. Oh, God.
We are living in the crazy times.
Why?
I don't even know.
That's
All right.
why he's doing this. Jesus Christ.
So
Yeah, you
Manafort.
reminding me of that, it just hit me. Yeah, that's why he's doing this, so he still has a Twitter, if Twitter removes it.
Like 500 fucking messages a day.
Yeah, no
All
wonder
at 2
John
to 3 in the
Kerry.
morning.
Yeah, no wonder John Kerry said that has the maturity of an 8-year-old boy and the insecurities of a 12-year-old girl. Actual headline.
John Kerry, he's that walking tree, right?
Yeah, he's that, rich Democratic guy who ran against Bush and lost.
Because he's a walking tree who's married to the Hershey's or Heinz fortune or something. I can't remember. All I know is he looks like a fucking treant.
And he was pretty unlikable. He was kind of like
boring.
the Democrats' version of Mitt Romney.
He was so boring. But Manafort, we will close out the night with the Manafort. Earlier this week, he was in the talks of this, but he has pled guilty to 2 charges to flip on Trump to get less sentence. He was looking at basically the rest of his life in prison. He's now down to 7 years. He has to cooperate with Mueller because these are state level. They could be tried at the state level as well. So if he does feed false information to Mueller and not flip on Trump, he could be going away for the rest of his life to prison.
Yep, and he has to do this because with the state level stuff, Trump can't pardon him for state crimes.
Nope, he cannot be pardoned for this. So this is pardon-proof flipping, and Manafort is the guy that, yeah,
He is one of the linchpins here.
Yeah,
He was Trump's campaign manager, so he knows all about the collusion stuff.
money laundering, bank fraud, foreign lobbying violations, and work for pro-Russian Ukrainians, all while working under Trump during the election run-up. Before he even picked Pence, he helped pick Pence. And Trump is going apeshit over this.
Yeah, it's looking every week like he is more and more screwed. Like I said
he's
last
going
week,
more
I would be
and more
surprised if we make it
mad
till
with
October.
He's going more and more fucking apeshit too. That's the thing. He keeps doing more and more erratic things, like saying, why should people be allowed to protest? when it's something he fucking... he made a vow when he became president to protect and uphold the Constitution, and he is not doing that on a day-to-day basis. He's constantly marginalizing groups of people. He's constantly fucking with the Constitution and saying that the freedom of press should not exist. The freedom to protest should not exist. Because these are people who are his enemies, thus far the nation's enemies.
Yeah, I hate agreeing with Hannity, but I have to agree. I think after the storm, he is going to try to fire Mueller, because as I said last week, he has until October to do something.
All I know is I think Mueller already had all the information he needed. He just needed Manafort to flip, so that way if he brought anything to any charges or anything to trial, he just needs more witnesses.
Well, it was pretty dire when he got the Trump family lawyer.
The money man.
You follow the money, you find out all of the taxes he hasn't paid in his entire lifetime. And that, when that comes to light, is going to be a big thing already.
We're talking billions of dollars in tax fraud.
Well, that's what brought down Capone.
Yep. That's what brings down all of the mob people. And that's the thing. Trump is a wannabe mobster. He's connected.
He even talks like a mobster. Strength and loyalty.
The reason why is because some of his best friends have been involved in the mob. Usually because he was, back in the 80s and 90s, his big thing wasn't real estate exclusively. It was casinos. Casinos, he ran until they went bankrupt, took money and ran. He made his fortune fucking people over. He belonged on the fucking Sopranos.
As the idiot brother.
Pretty much. The motherfucker is so entrenched in con artistry and nepotism and narcissism. I'm surprised that he has not been nabbed yet. I'm surprised they haven't fucked him. But this episode's gone on fairly long. We're sitting at 2 hours and 40 fucking minutes. Any last words now that we've gone almost a whole hour over time?
I usually yell Space Force, but I don't feel like it.
I know. I don't feel like yelling Space Force either today. It is a dire, dire day. So
I really think that we're going to have something come to light in October, a legitimate October surprise this year, right before the midterms. Either he fires Mueller or Mueller just drops everything right before the election. One of those two things has to happen.
Yeah, we're looking at some problem coming forward. But that's been this week of Atomic Silver Lining. We had Fodda on for a bit. Hopefully he enjoys listening back to this after I get it edited and uploaded. Thank you guys for watching. No technical glitches today. Yes! Right? Last week was a clusterfuck. Craig didn't die. My internet didn't die. The only problem was that Fodda was a little late. No big whoop.
It worked out fine.
Yep, because he was able to get caught up with some of the things and say his piece about
hopefully another week we can have Fodda on again to elaborate more about Article 13.
If it becomes, if more information about that comes out. I know Article 13 isn't actually officially going to become law until close to the next European Union election in 2021. Because it's still got to go through a couple more votes to get the final wording and make it actual European Union like law to where then individual countries have to make their own version. So we're still looking at it being another year or two down the road, just like it's another year or two before they figure out what the fuck's going on with net neutrality.
Or
The final
Brexit.
vote's never the final vote. But we'll see what happens. But for now, this has been Disdonn.
And Steve.
And you guys have a good night. See you next week.